Hello, potato chips. How you doing? Wee Paddy from across the shock. Well, I managed to get another wee video done now today. I've been feeling like crap, to be perfectly honest with you. These shingles are definitely not a pleasant thing to have. I've no appetite. I'm fading away to a mountain. Um, but if you're eating your dinner, I apologise for this, but the blisters have started to burst today, so hopefully that's going to be the downward spiral. We'll be getting on the upward leg of the journey, but not a pleasant thing, but not the worst thing I've ever had. But there we go. Right, what am I going to talk about today? I'm going to talk about this beautiful knife here, which is the Humble Case Sodbuster. Now, but these are the five Sodbuster patterns that I have, and I just wanted to talk about the Sodbuster knife because it comes in quite a few different variants. The only one that can be officially called a Sodbuster is the case, because they patented the name in 1967. So I believe, again, a lot of this information I've been getting from the AAPK, which is where I get a lot of my information from. It's just what other people have wrote. So I could be wrong. If I am, please feel free to correct me. I would like to find out. Anyway, let's tell you a little bit about the Sodbuster pattern. Sadly, for you Americans who think it was an American invention, it came from Europe. And probably Germany, but I mean, there's no facts on these. Knives have been about for hundreds of years, and this Sodbuster pattern originated from the old clasp knife, which has been going for a couple of hundred years. You know, it literally wasn't called a Sodbuster till 67, but they were a working knife. They were the working man's knife. It was a simply made knife, well constructed, to try and do a bit of good, honest graft. And like the Germans just called it a pocket knife. Now, I can't speak German, but they have their own name for it. But it was translated to a pocket knife. The French called them the miner's knife. I have no understanding of why, but I'm sure there is one. Again, if you know it, put below. The Spanish call it the Navajas de Campos, which is the pastor's knife, which again is another strange name that I had never heard before. And this is what I love about this hobby, especially with traditional knives. You have history. You can go back and find out little bits of information that stick in your head for no other reason than it's just interesting. And I mean, you can then delve into the Spanish pastor's knife or the miner's knife in France. So you can go on all different avenues if you so want to. And that's great. That is, another part of this collecting that just opens it up for those people who love all that investigation work. I like to find out the basics. That's me. I like to find it. Now, I got this knife given to me by gizmocarr, who is one of my long-time subscribers, one of the most prolific commenters on my channel, who gives really good, precise information about nearly everything that you put up on YouTube. And I know he does that to a lot of other people. And, sometimes our subs who don't have channels don't get the respect that they should have because they're only seen in comments. But the information they give and the encouragement, especially Gizmo gives, is just, it's amazing. And it means the world. And then when he sends you a knife, that knife becomes very special because you know who the man is. I've never had a case Sodbuster. I had recently got the GEC Bullnose. I have had this one for a while, which is an A.G. Russell Rancher, but it's in the Sodbuster pattern. This is a little Mazarine I got given a while ago, and this is in some sort of, I think it's a ram's horn. It's like a translucent handle on it. And then I got this one years ago from Big Red, and he was picking these up for about $5. And then when he sent one to be tested, it's in $10.95, and it's more the size of a large Sodbuster. But he was getting them for $5, which is just amazing. And to get $10.95 steel Fantastic. That's 1095, that's 1095, that's 1095. The Chinese one is 8CR13, and the Mazarin is an Italian stainless steel. It doesn't designate which it is, but I love 1095, and Gizmo picked this specifically 1095 because I love that the blade steel, I should say. Sorry, if my voice goes dry, I'm really sorry. But so these are just some of the ones that I had, and they all come in different sizes, as you can see. But let's just talk about this one. What a beautiful knife. Look at that jigged bone on that knife. Now, these knives are about $50 in the States. They're more expensive over here. But you can get a basic Sodbuster in yellow Delrin like this. Even over here in the UK, between $35 and $40. I think it's our dollars, pounds. But they're all over Europe. You can pick up the cheap Delrin Sodbusters for between £35 and £40, which is a great price for a great working knife. Now, this is the Sodbuster Jr. They come on two sides, this and the much larger one. This to me is a perfect pocket dropper. It is just the perfect size. It's lightweight. It has a blade that is absolutely stunning. I love the pattern. It's a drop point. It's just a working blade. And the working blade in this is about 3 inches with a cutting edge of about 2 5/8, which is just perfect for a little work knife that you drop in your pocket. Now, this is not for somebody who maybe works in a building site. You can go to the bigger version for that if you want a hefty, work knife. But this to me is for your everyman. Just a knife that you can use. And with the 1095, I love it. There will be a patina that will form on it because this will be used, as I'm sure Gizmo would want me to do. It's a beautiful size knife. Now, I'm going to put it up against, this is probably the next most famous, which is the GEC. And this is their bull nose, which is their small version. They have a bull buster, which is probably the same size as the big Sodbuster. Again, I've never had one, but I'm probably going to get a case large one. But you can see the difference. Not a huge difference in blade length at all, but much narrower. This is a heavy duty work knife, and this is an EDC work knife, if that makes any sense. You can see the difference. The blade thicknesses are about the same, but this is just a little bit of a smaller blade, you can see, but not much in it whatsoever. And this is what this is what I would call a heavy duty knife, although it is a smaller version of the Sodbuster. The fit and finish in this, it is a beautifully mirrored finish blade. I love that with case. You get that. The backspacer is lovely. It is well finished. The jigging is beautiful. The pins are really well inset into that bone. There's more than I would have thought, but I suppose you don't see pins on knives that are underneath bolsters and whatever. But even going on the other Sodbuster patterns, they've usually only got 3. This has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know what the reason for that is, but it doesn't matter a jot. I'm just sort of pointing out a knife as I go along. It was lovely and clean on the inside. The termination at the top is great, so your blade is completely covered at this end. The blade centering is absolutely fantastic. So again, I've been very lucky that my case knives that I've got have all come with very, very minor complaints, if any. But they're not complaints I would ever send a knife back for. It's a good quality knife. The back spring is lovely. It's not a tight back spring. You can get right up there to the ricasso. It's not huge, but it'll stop the knife closing on you by accident if it does. It's got that lovely case shield, the oval shield. This is obviously, I think this is from, look, I'm not even going to go into the case because I know GEC, but I don't know case. It's something I'm going to teach myself. So I don't know. I think that is this year's. but I could be completely wrong, which is nothing unusual for me. I have been using it. It comes case knives. That's the one thing I noticed with case. If I can show you, there you can see they come with a very rough. It looks like it must be about a 400 belt or something. All the case knives seem to come with that. And the only thing I'd done to this knife to get it that sharp is I gave it a quick strop because it was very, very toothy. Now, I haven't taken all the toothiness out of it because it's a knife that I'm going to be using for cardboard and things like that. So I don't want to take that toothiness away because I find that's great when you're cutting cardboard and any sort of rough material. But as a knife, I can't fault it. It is just it's what a pocket knife should be. It's just simple. You've got a blade that will do so many different... I mean, they were a skinning knife. They call this a skinning blade because you have that big belly up there. And if you want to get a bit of skinning done, by no means an expert, I must add again, but that's what it started out as, a skinning knife. So 1967, Case called it the Sodbuster. So everybody else had to start calling their different names, which is why you get Bullnose and all sorts of other names. I like the fact that Case done that because it made it their own. It gave it their name. I like that. Every company should have their own name for a knife and a shape. They couldn't do the pattern, but they done the name of Sodbuster, which is what they done. So there's that many, as I showed you, there's that many difference. Here's an A.G. Russell. Now, it's a much fatter blade, but it is that Skinner type blade. It's a drop point. It's got a belly. Here's an Italian version of it. Again, that's about the same size. Drop point with a bit of belly. That's what a Sodbuster seems to be, and all the patterns seem to be that, which is nice. So you really pick whichever one you want, and you've got a price range from $5 to, I mean, this will probably cost you $80-90, maybe a bit more now, but, and this is the mid-range price. The case, or what seems to be, and when I'm saying mid-range, I know it's $50 odd, but it is mid-range. You can get, say, the Delrin cheaper again. But for a really classic looking knife, I mean, it doesn't look like a working knife, because when Case do their bone, they just make such a beautiful job of it. That does not look like a work knife, but yet it is every bit as useful as the Delrin, because the only difference is the handle. But this looks nicer to bring out in company or to bring out and use. It's non-threatening. The small Sodbuster, I don't find a threatening knife whatsoever. It's legal to carry in the UK here. And, you know, I'm not going to tell you a whole lot more about a Sodbuster other than it is a basic working knife. Should it be for skinning, cutting, whatever way you want to do. And when you go back to the clasp knife and the older model knives, they were just simply made knives for work. The Sodbuster is no different. I genuinely have enjoyed using this. I'm going to continue using it, and I'll do a longer term review. This is going to be my, I'm going to call it a Sodbuster, but this is going to be my working one for heavier use. Not because the blade is thicker, but because the handle, I can get a really good grip on this handle. This is going to be my EDC carry. Whereas, you know, I'm not tending to carry this as much for CDD. I'm so sorry. I am struggling with words. This is going to be my heavier use, more because of the handle is bigger and thicker. This is my EDC use because it's lovely and thin, it's light, but it can do as much work as I'll ever need in a day, as I keep saying about knives. They're just a tool that you use during your day. And if you're not a heavy use person, why carry a heavy use knife? This is perfect for your everyman EDC. Even an office carry, do you know what I mean? It's perfect because, you know, offices, you're breaking down boxes. You want a knife that's going to cope with everything you've got. This will do it. A beautiful knife. But I really love the bone. And I love the fact that CV, I can't wait to use it. It'll be used for cutting up meats and everything. I'll use this for my steak. I love using my penknives for my steaks. It's a weird thing to want to do. But that's me. I'm pretty weird. I'm sorry, this gizmo. I know I probably haven't done you justice, and I'm sorry. I just wanted to get it out there. I've been hanging on to it for a week now. I really genuinely appreciate this, and I love it. I will probably get the larger one so that I can compare the sizes with them. But thank you very much again. And thank you for those for sticking with me. Sorry there hasn't been much content, but I think you'll understand. I've had a miserable week, but I'm feeling, well, I feel as if I'm on the upward road now. Take care, everybody. Thank you for all your well wishes. And don't forget, better than any of this knife stuff, a little prayer for our friend Rick Warthog. Wish him well in his recovery. Take care, everybody. Putties away. Thanks again. Bye now.